You start to wonder what else down there is dying. All very inconvenient questions
วันนี้มา
nobody in
กิน
government wants to hear, of course, but they sure
ตำ
cared a
ทั่ว
lot about
ถา
whales
ด
when they
ตำทั่ว
started
ถาด
a war against
มี
North Atlantic
แค
lobstermen.
บหมู
You remember this
มี
story?
หมู
The
ท
Biden
อด มีข
administration
นม
more than
เส้น
willing to
มี
eviscerate
ถั่ว
the
งอก
Maine
มีผัก
lobster industry
แล้วก็
almost in its
ข้าว
entirety in order to save
มา
the
มา
right
จ้ามากิน
whale.
ข้าวน้ำกันเด้อ
Why do they care so much about the
กิน
right
ข้าว
whale?
คำมื้อนี้ไป
There's
ธุระ
no
หักก็มา
actual evidence lobstering is actually killing right whales. The administration cherry-picking data to justify its assault on the lobster industry, imposing regulations that would force the Maine lobster industry to reduce their output by a staggering 90%, killing countless businesses, no doubt. Despite the fact that in the last 18 years, not one right whale has been killed by Maine lobster gear, and there have only been 2 entanglements. Back in September, I spoke to Maine lobsterman Jason Joyce about why he thinks the administration cares
นี่เส้นหมูจ้ะ
that only 2 right whales have been entangled in a number of years in nets.
They want to eventually have thousands of offshore windmills off the East Coast and roughly around 1,000 in the Gulf of Maine, which would take a long time for them to do, but it would be between 20 and 40 miles offshore. That's where the lobster fishermen are at. We're the only stakeholder that's there. If we're eliminated, because we are loud, but we are environmentally aware of what's going on.
Yep.
And so we're the only ones objecting to this. All of the environmental groups have no objection to it whatsoever.
So obviously, it's not about whales at all. It's about an agenda. They're willing to sacrifice as many humpbacks as it takes to get their agenda done. But if there's one right whale hurt, then when it goes the other way, obviously they're going to protect that right whale with everything that they got. They want to get rid of the lobstermen. They don't care about them. So they use whales when it's convenient for them, and they kill them when it's convenient for them. You start to see how it works. There's always a real reason for the decisions that government makes. Now you take that logic and you extrapolate it out, and you realize that windmills and solar have really nothing to do with protecting the planet anymore. Of course, it's always about money and power, like it always is. Bonnie Brady is an executive director of the Long Island Commercial Fishing Association, and she joins us now. Bonnie, thanks so much for coming on. You have a theory about exactly what's happening to these whales. You know, I think those are some of the most beautiful animals on Earth. They're certainly some of the biggest. What exactly is happening to them?
Hi, thanks so much for having me. What we need to have a federal investigation about is that the surveying, basically the mapping of the ocean floor that is done by these survey boats, they have certain low frequency sound that they utilize for various machinery that we believe is impeding the whale's ability to hear, breed, feed, and also communicate. It's on the same frequency, and what has been happening is that we already know it's considered a level B harassment. I'm sure you've heard the federal government going, we have not authorized any type of injury. They've authorized level B takes, which includes the ability to harass these animals. However, it also includes something called temporary temporal shifts in hearing. That's temporary deafness. So what we think is happening is that the amount of survey boats they have out there, they've got over 20 wind energy areas that are presently in various forms of surveying, leasing these areas. These boats are 240, 260 feet using this equipment, and they're moving sometimes up to 70 kilometers in a day. They're not sitting still. So the sparkers, the boomers, and the chirps that are used are probably, and I'm making this assumption because we need to get the information, affecting these whales so they normally, because of the sound, they don't know what's going on. And then if they wind up being temporarily deaf and a ship hits them, it's a ship strike. Part of the problem is the way they're showing up, they're not...
Can I ask you... Yeah. I just want to interrupt that. Sorry to interrupt, but it's 10 whales, from what we understand, in New Jersey and New York, or Long Island, New York, just in the last couple months, it sounds like. How big of an increase is that to see that many dead whales? It seems like a beached whale or a dead whale on a beach is not a very frequent occurrence. I haven't never seen one live.
Well, what they call the unusual mortality event, or UME, for humpbacks began in 2016. What the feds have said is, oh no, this unusual mortality event, it predates survey work. That's a lie. US Wind did surveys in 2015 and in 2016. Bay State Wind, which was owned by Dong Energy, which is Orsted, was also doing surveys in 2016. And between 2014 and 16, the Block Island Wind Farm was being constructed along with its cable. So we know the sounds were out there then. About the same time, there was also a UME for minke whales and also for the North Atlantic right whale. They are all baleen whales, which are all whales that hear in low frequencies. Other whales that also on the low frequency are sperm whales. Two of those landed, one in New York, I believe, and one in New Jersey. There was a SEI.
So it seems like it seems you're fairly certain that that's what's going on here. I have to cut it there because we're low on time, but just real quick, is that 75-90% sure your theory?
What we need is Congressman Van Drew and Congressman Harris requested a federal investigation. It's the only way we can get our hands on the necropsies, see what's being done, talk to the survey boats, put them on pause, interview the protected species observers, have them open up their logs. We need transparency and we need oversight, and we need it now because we can't afford to have any more dead whales.
Well, the story. Bonnie Brady, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Well, she just mentioned New Jersey Congressman Jeff Van Drew, and he joins us now, the only Republican on the offshore wind caucus, and he's still concerned enough to admit that this needs to stop immediately so it can be assessed whether these wind farms are just eviscerating ocean life and these whales. Sir, it's good to have you on. I know that you're a supporter of wind energy, which makes it interesting that you still are, you're in support of this full stop here. What do we know at this point?
Well, let me straighten something out. I'm not in support of wind energy. I haven't been for a very long time. I think it's something that's going to, in so many ways, present problems. What I was in support of was years ago a small pilot project that would test how it would work and if there would be any harm. I mean, 2 or 3 smaller windmills. This is something I've never supported. This is going to be hundreds and hundreds of windmills. And these wind turbines are going to be over 1,000 feet tall, 3 times the size of Lady Liberty. They are affecting the ocean floor. They're going to affect the fishermen. They're going to affect navigation. They are environmentally bad. But the reason that this exists is because there's so much money, so much power, and so much international connections to get this done. This is not about the environment. This is about big money.
Do you think there's any chance that have
big money?
Yeah, if this investigation finds that, I mean, that these wind farms are doing damage, I still don't think you'd be able to stop it. I'm not sure that you could.
Oh, it's going to be hard, but we're going to do everything we can. I've already asked for hearings. As you know, we are in the process of scheduling the first hearing, which will actually, the vast majority of these wells, there's about 12 now, and 9 or 10 of them are actually have been beached or died within my district. So we're going to have a big meeting there with a lot of the local people, first of all, being able to talk about it. The fishermen, scientists, there's a couple of good environmentalists like Clean Ocean Action and Cindy Zins who really do believe in doing the right thing. The other environmentalists seem to be bought off, literally. There's huge amounts of money going to these environmental groups, and they just don't care. This is an anti-environmental thing what's happening. It's doing damage, and it's going to do even more damage when people get the price tag because people's utility bills are going to go way up.
This machine's already been just set in motion, and it's just, you just wonder if there's anything that could stop it. Sir, I got to ask you before we go, we saw you last night. You gave a great speech about Newsmax on the floor of the House. About what's happened to us, booted off DirecTV a week ago. 13 million households were no longer in. Today, your Senate colleagues also sent a letter to the CEOs of AT&T, DirecTV, and the minority shareholder, or stakeholder, I should say, TPG, saying it appears that this decision may be the latest example of big business suppressing politically disfavored speech at the behest of liberal Democrats. And that the important part here is to remind people that DirecTV is willing to pay any liberal network and almost any network at all. They just don't want to pay us. And that, to me, is a form of censorship. Go ahead, sir.
It is a form of censorship. This is pure censorship. You know, it's funny because I said, you know, today I talked about Second Amendment rights on the floor. Yesterday I was talking about First Amendment rights. This is bigger than all of us. It really is. This is about freedom of speech and where our country is going to go into the future. The fact that a political party can be so powerfully connected to a business and literally stop the freedom of speech and open ideas where everybody comes to the table. You know what I believe in, and I know you believe the same. I want to hear from everybody. I want to hear from people that are liberal and conservative, people that are, you know, at all sides of the political spectrum. But what we're doing is we're not allowing those who are conservative to speak, and we're stomping their voices out. And we've got to fight hard. This is no place for the weak.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to stand tall. You've got to fight hard. And talking about hearings, I promised you folks that I'm working on it. And I brought it up the other day in Judiciary. And folks are really listening. And we're going to have some kind of hearings on this too. Because it isn't right. Something's obviously wrong when other stations are literally, you know, don't have the viewership that you do, don't produce the revenue that you do, but they're allowed to be stayed on because they're liberal. We got to stop this.
Yeah.
It's freedom of speech issue.
That's exactly right. Congressman, thank you so much. Jeff Van Drew from the state of New Jersey. We appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Again, 1 week since we were pulled from 13 million homes. Blatant censorship, as you know. It's the second conservative channel canceled in a year by DirecTV, claiming they're saving you money, which isn't true. DirecTV is keeping and paying 22 liberal news channels, many of which have lower ratings. The former president, Donald Trump, many Republicans urging Americans to cancel DirecTV to send a message. If you're an AT&T customer, you can cancel their cell phone service, internet. There's a lot of ways to send a very important message as we fight for free speech and freedom of the press. Tens of thousands of people, tens of thousands called last week. It was a major moment for us. Support free speech and Newsmax and oppose censorship. And thank you for the support. All right, coming up after the break, House Oversight Republicans begin investigating how much of your money the government lit on fire during COVID. And what they're finding, we'll discuss to you. It's coming up next.
Best-selling author David Horowitz has issued a grim warning. The next election could be the last. The radical left is dismantling our freedoms and imposing socialism right before our very eyes. David's blockbuster new book, Final Battle, reveals what conservatives must do to take back the White House. Now you can get this, a must-read political bombshell, absolutely free through this special offer. Read Final Battle before it's too late.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and in light of the recent events, your continued support means everything to myself and my employees. To thank you, we're having the biggest sale ever on all My Pillow bedding. Get My Pillow bed sheets for as low as $29.98. A set of pillowcases for only $9.98. In this economy, instead of buying a new bed, rejuvenate your bed with a My Pillow mattress topper for as low as $99.99. We also have blankets in a variety of sizes, colors, and styles, like plush, waffle, or gossamer, for as low as $29.98. We even have pet blankets from small size to the ones for your car. Get huge discounts on duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. So go to mypillow.com or call that number on your screen. Use your promo code and you'll get huge discounts on all My Pillow bedding, including My Pillow bed sheets for as low as $29.98. Get all your shopping in while quantities last. Please order now.
This is what it feels like to file with TaxSlam. Confident you'll get your guaranteed maximum refund.
I'm the refund boss. All your refunded belong to me.
Nope, not today.
File. Tax balance.
Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund.
As women, our bodies change as we age, and it's not as easy to lose weight anymore. What worked before might not work anymore. That's why I teamed up with the experts at Nutrisystem to help create their newest plans specifically designed for women ages 55 and up. Introducing Complete 55, weight loss made for women.
คือเหมือนกันว่าจ้าเมื่อวานเนี่ย
A personalized plan that takes into account a woman's unique metabolism, age, nutritional needs, and activity level.
It's not just weight loss. It's about weight management and learning proper nutrition, for a lifetime of health
ผู้ใด
and
ถือหวย
wellness.
ก็ยินดีนำเด้อจ้าเด้อ
Meals delivered to your door,
Đi chơi
including
nóng.
Party Inspirations meals that control hunger for up to 5 hours.
I think it's important to take care of yourself if you want to continue to have quality of life as you age.
Act now and you can get today's special offer.
Women everywhere are taking control
Ủa,
of their
cực ảo
weight
mai.
and their health.
งวดหน้าก็มีมา
Go online or call right now to get today's special offer on Complete 55.
Attention, were you exposed to the toxic water at Camp Lejeune?
Congress has just passed the Camp Lejeune Justice Act, which makes billions of dollars available to victims of the toxic water supply. If you or your family were exposed, you may be entitled to a share of that money.
If you live or work at Camp Lejeune, even if you're not military and have suffered any of these serious health problems, call 1-800-760-8600. That's 1-800-760-8600.
ทำให้เพิ่ม
Guys, your masculinity is too important to trust to weak, outdated formulas. Test X180 for force factor is powerful, helping you boost total testosterone, build muscle, increase energy, and improve performance. Rush to Walmart for Test X180 for force factor.
Guys, you have a choice. Slow down with age or crank up your testosterone with Ageless Male Max. A formula that's so powerful, it embarrasses the competition. Get the testosterone boost you crave with Ageless Male Max.
Hi, I'm Eileen. I live in Vancouver, Washington, and I write mystery
กลัว
novels.
เผ็ด
Dogs have been such an important part of my life. I have Flynn and a new puppy.
เป็นไงระบายเห็นไหม
As I was writing, I found that I just wasn't as sharp, and I knew I needed to do something. So I
นี่ฉัน
started
ก็จะ
taking
เป็นบ้าแล้ว
Prevagen.
บอกผู้เดียวท่าน
I
ระบาย
realized that I was much more clear, and I was remembering the details that I was supposed to. Prevagen keeps my brain working right.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription.
All right, welcome back. Today, 3 inspectors general were brought before the House Oversight Committee to testify on one of the biggest scams in American history, federal COVID relief fraud. More than 1,000 people have been convicted of defrauding COVID relief programs Congress established in the early days of the pandemic when this country went nuts. Since March of 2020, our
บ๊าย
government
บาย
spent
จ้าขอบคุณ
roughly
หลายๆจ้า
$5
ที่ติดตาม
trillion
รับชมรับฟัง
on COVID aid, an ungodly
กดไลค์
amount
ก
of
ดแชร์ เป็น
money.
กำลังใจให้
It's
สาวเชฟคนนี้ด้วย
incomprehensible
จ้า
how much money that is.